Welcome to a new series of political science, international relations, and public policy. This is something that I want to understand, and I hope many people would like to understand basics of political science, international relations, and public policy. This will be our 30-40 uh, session of course where we'll learn about key concepts and very basics of public policy and political science and international relations, where we'll learn about these basic concepts and try to understand how things work in real life. So this will be very beneficial uh, for many people. So let's start with the session one. What is politics? The invisible force that shapes our life. I think it's not invisible, it's visible everywhere. Politicians are visible. So imagine you wake up tomorrow and discover that every government in the world has disappeared. So there are no prime ministers, no presidents, no police, no courts, no taxes, no public schools, no armies, no traffic rules, no passports, no laws. What would happen? Some people think freedom. Nobody can tell me what to do. Others think chaos. Political science begins with this question: if there is no government, not which party should I vote for, but how do human beings live together when they disagree? When they disagree, politics is not about which party should I vote for, but it is about how do human beings live together when they disagree. That is the fundamental political question. So if there is a party that has won, there could be opposition as well. People have voted for the opposition and for the winning party. So there are people who disagree, but there is one government which is going to make the policies, which is going to run the entire country. But the country will be run at least. But if imagine there is no government and there are some groups of people who are different, they disagree on certain things, then how that turn out? That would turn out into chaos, according to me. Now, why this course matters? Its political effects: the price of food, the quantity of roads, education, jobs, healthcare, taxes, wars, peace, immigration, climate policy. Even if you hate politics, politics doesn't. A decision made by a government can affect millions of people who never participated in making it. Politics is therefore not just about politicians. Politics is about collective decision making. Politics is about collective decision making. The core definition. Political scientists have proposed many definitions. One of the most famous comes from political scientist Harold Laswell. He describes politics as who gets what, when, and how. He describes Harold Laswell was an American political scientist and communication theorist known for pioneering studies on propaganda, power, and political psychology. Who gets what, when, and how. Right. So Harold Laswell. Sorry, this is Harold Laswell. Who gets what, when, and how. This is politics. This simple sentence explains a surprising amount of politics. Who gets what, when, and how. So, example: a family. Parents have 10,000 rupees. How should they spend? Better foods, tuition, new clothes, vacation. Resources are limited. Choices must be made, right? You have to distribute budgets for these things. So this is where politics begin. A village. After family, a village. The village has money for only one project: new road, new hospital, new school. You have to spend in only one of them. Not everyone agrees, so politics begins. So somebody is telling road, hospital, somebody is school, somebody is saying hospital, somebody is saying road. Which one will be? will it be spent on? There the politics begin. There is a collective decision that is going to be taking a role. So a country, think about a government has a budget, defense, welfare program, education, healthcare. Every choice helps some groups more than others. Politics begins. Every choice, somebody wants it to spend it in defense, somebody in welfare, somebody in education and healthcare. So politics begins. First big concept, scarcity. Everything in politics starts with scarcity. Scarcity means there is less of something than people want. Examples: money, land, water, government attention, public resources. If resources were unlimited, politics would almost disappear. There is no question of budgeting, there is no question of allocating something to some department or some uh, benefits. So, this limited nature of resources is actually giving rise to the politics. Why? Because everyone could get everything they wanted when resources are unlimited. But reality is different. Resources are finite. Desires are infinite. Therefore, choices must be made. Politics begins. The second big concept, conflict. So humans disagree a lot. Different people want different things. Example, a farmer wants higher crop prices, a consumer wants lower food prices, a business owner wants lower taxes, a welfare recipient may want more government spending. So, in the same world, what would the government do? A farmer wants a higher crop prices, but the consumer wants a lower food prices. These are two contradictions. Both sides cannot always get everything. Politics emerges from these conflicts. So the third big concept is cooperation. Politics is not only conflict. Politics is also cooperation. Think about constitutions, laws, trade agreements, peace treaties. These are attempts to solve conflicts peacefully. Politics is society's method of avoiding endless violence. Politics is society's method of avoiding endless violence. So, if there is no politics, there is no government, there is no country. Then people would disagree and they would go violent way. So, the government is something that we need. The concept of power. If politics is the game, if politics is the game, power is a currency. What is power? Power is the ability to influence outcomes, or more simply, the ability to get people to do things. Power appears everywhere. Physical power. A soldier can use force. A billionaire can influence markets. A president can sign laws. A celebrity can influence opinions. An expert can shape decisions. Thought experiment. Imagine two people, person A, no money, no friends, no influence. Person B, wealthy, famous, connected. Which person can save society more easily? Usually person B. Political science asks why and is that fair? So types of power. Political scientists often distinguish between hard power, getting people to obey through force, threats, punishment. Examples like police, military, economic sanctions. Soft power, getting people to follow voluntarily, culture, ideas, values, reputation. Soft power and hard power. Hard power forced, soft power are not forced, it is voluntary. Countries can possess soft power too. Japan through culture, South Korea through music and entertainment, United States through media and universities. We'll revisit international relations. Authority, power that people accept. Suppose a stranger walks up to you and says, "Give me 1,000 rupees." You probably refuse. Now imagine a court legally orders a fine. You may dislike it, but you recognize its authority. So you give. So authority is legitimate power. Authority is legitimate power. People obey because they believe the command is rightful, not merely because they are afraid. Authority is legitimate power. People obey because they believe the command is rightful. not merely because they're afraid. Yeah. Legitimacy. Authority is legitimate power. People obey not merely because they are afraid, but they believe that the command is rightful. Legitimacy, this may be the most important concept in political science. Legitimacy means people believe a ruler or institution has the right to rule. Legitimacy. People believe a ruler or institution has the right to rule. Governments survive most easily when people see them as legitimate. They have the right to rule. Example, imagine two governments. Government A has huge army, citizens hate it. Government B is smaller army, citizens trust it. Which government is more stable? The one that citizens trust. So the government B is going to be legitimate because legitimacy reduces the need for force. State versus government versus nation. Many people use these terms interchangeably. State, government, nation. State, government, nation. Political scientists do not. State has territory, population, government. State has government, sovereignty. Like India, France, Brazil. Government. Government is the people currently running the state. So there's a state that is a government and the government is running the state. The people currently running the state. Governments change. Governments can change. State is already there. State is like the seat. Government is like the captain that comes and goes. A nation. Community of people who feel they belong together. So the state and the nation are two different things. State has a territory, has a population, government, and sovereignty. Nation is a community of people who feel they belong together, often because of language, history, culture, identity. A nation is emotional and cultural. A state is political. A nation is emotional and cultural. A state is political. It has a territory. A nation is the feeling of people that they belong together, a community of people. Why governments exist? Now we arrive at one of the deepest questions. Why not simply live without government? Imagine no laws, police, courts, taxes, regulations. What happens? Political philosophers disagree. But most believe that large societies eventually create governments because securities, rules are needed. Disputes need resolution. Because there will always be people in disagreement. The social contract, one of the most important ideas in political thought, the basic idea, people surrendered some freedom. In exchange, there is security, stability, and protection. People surrender some freedom. In exchange, there is security, stability, protection. This exchange is called social contract. We'll study it in depth next session. Politics is everywhere. Politics only happens in parliament. That is not the case. Actually, politics exists everywhere. People must make collective decisions in schools, universities, corporations, religious organizations, sports federations, international organizations, everywhere. Wherever there are decision makings, there is politics. The analyst's lens. From today onward, whenever you see a political event, ask six questions. Who are the actors? Individuals, parties, countries, companies. What do they want? What power do they possess? What limits them? Who benefits? Who pays the cost? These six questions will become one of your most important analytical tools. Who are the actors? Who runs? Who do they want? What powers do they possess? What limits them? Who benefits? Who pays the cost? Mini case study. Okay? Building a new airport. Suppose the government proposes a new airport. Who benefits? Six questions. Who benefits? Travelers. Who benefits? Airlines. Who benefits? Construction companies. Who may oppose it? Nearby residents and the environmental groups. Trees would be cut and land of nearby residents might be taken. So there are benefits, there are people who can oppose it. What resources are involved? Land, money, political support. What power matters? Government authority, public opinion, business influence. Without realizing it, you are already doing political analysis. So from the session one, the key concepts are politics. Politics is about collective decision making, scarcity, limited resources, conflict. Disagreement over force is a scarcity, conflict, and cooperation. Power, ability to influence outcomes, authority, legitimate power. Legitimacy believe that power is justified. So authority is legitimate power, and legitimacy is belief that power is justified. State is a sovereign political entity. Sovereign political entity. Government. What is sovereign? It's not what is sovereign. Okay, so we are yeah. Sovereign refers to having supreme power, ultimate authority, or being completely independent and self-governing. It's the ultimate power. Sovereign political entity is the state. Government is the current ruler of the state. Nation is a community sharing identity. So this is the end of session exercise. We got great concepts in terms of political science basics. The first session was amazing. We have all these points which we have learned. In the upcoming 30 sessions or 40 sessions, it would be even much greater. We'll understand many concepts. So stay tuned for the next video. Thank you so much.